Today on Inquirer, House of Representatives adopts Senate's version of the controversial Maharlika Investment Fund bill. President Bongbong Marcos assures state pension funds will not be used as seed funds for the Maharlika Fund.
We have no intention of using the pera, kukuha tayo ng pera ng pension fund. We will not use it as a seed fund.
Typhoon Betty maintains strength as it moves away from the country. Nearly 15,000 people affected. And Tito, Vic, and Joey announce Eat Bulaga is leaving Tape Incorporated. Good evening. The House of Representatives has accepted the Senate's version of the controversial Maharlika Investment Fund bill. A bicameral conference committee hearing was held on Wednesday to reconcile conflicting provisions between the chamber's versions of the proposal. House Committee on Banks and Financial Intermediaries Chair Representative Erwin Tieng said the chamber has yielded to the Senate's MIF bill. The bicameral meeting was held only a few hours after the Senate passed its MIF bill, a version that had veered away from what was approved by the House in December last year. The Senate's version of the measure explicitly banned investments in the proposed sovereign wealth fund from the Social Security System, Government Service Insurance System, Philippine Health Insurance Corp., Home Development Mutual Fund, Overseas Workers Welfare Administration, and Philippine Veterans Affairs Office. President Bongbong Marcos certified the MIF bill in both the Senate and the House as urgent, allowing Congress to pass the measure just a few months after it was filed. President Bongbong Marcos expressed his commitment that government will not use the state pension fund for the proposed Maharlika Investment Fund. When asked about his views on the possibility of using the state pension funds as funding source for the MIF, Marcos says the government has no intention to use pension funds for the proposed sovereign wealth fund. However, the president adds that the pension funds themselves may decide to invest in the MIF. Under the Senate-approved bill, investments from the Social Security System, Government Service Insurance System, Philippine Health Insurance Corp., Home Development Mutual Fund, Overseas Workers Welfare Administration, and Philippine Veterans Affairs Office are banned. The House of Representatives has adopted the Senate's version of the controversial MIF bill.
We have no intention of using the pera, kukuha tayo ng pera ng pension fund. We will not use it as a seed fund. However, if a pension fund, which is what pension funds do, is they invest. If the pension fund decides that the Maharlika Fund is a good investment, it's up to them if they want to invest in it.
Typhoon Betty maintains its strength as it moves away from the country. Let's check the latest development on the typhoon with Pag-asa weather specialist Benison Estareja. Benison?
Yes, good evening to you and to all our viewers. As of 4 in the afternoon, the center of the eye of Typhoon Betty was estimated at 410 kilometers east-northeast of Itbayat, Batanes. It now has maximum sustained winds of 120 kilometers per hour near the center and gustiness of up to 150 kilometers per hour. It is currently moving northward at 15 kph, and only the areas of Batanes and the eastern portion of Babuyan Islands are raised with tropical cyclone wind signal number 1. So they're experiencing strong winds as Typhoon Betty continues to move away, accelerating away from our country. And based on our latest track, it could exit the Philippine area of responsibility Thursday afternoon or tomorrow.
Benison, so ina-expect natin itong bagyo na lumabas, that's Thursday afternoon, right? Pero siguro ang tanong natin mga kababayan, bakit patuloy pa rin itong mga pag-ulan na nararanasan natin if papalayo na ng bansa itong bagyong Betty?
Yes, some areas in the northern part of Luzon, particularly La Union and Benguet, are still experiencing the greatest amount of rains. That's up until tomorrow, as well as Ilocos provinces and Abra, some light to moderate rains. But more areas in southern Luzon and Visayas are actually experiencing moderate to heavy rains. And this is due to the southwest monsoon or habagat po na siyang pinalalakas nitong si Typhoon Betty. So magpapatuloy pa rin yung mga pag-ulan over Western Visayas, Mimaropa, mga nearby areas in Central Visayas, Bicol Region, Calabarzon, hanggang sa weekend pa po.
Pero kasama ba doon itong Metro Manila? Kasi ngayong hapon, medyo may pag-ulan tayong naranasan.
Totoo po. For Metro Manila, we are forecasting po that by this evening, it will be cloudy. And then there will be some scattered rain showers. And from tomorrow up until the weekend, mostly cloudy skies pa rin po, dahil ito ay Metro Manila is located in the western side of our country. So we could also experience some sort of habagat rains, mga light to moderate rains po in general.
Benison, uling tanong na lamang, ito bang bagyong Betty, indikasyon ba ito na papalapit na tayo? Or are we approaching the rainy season dito sa ating bansa?
We are anticipating po na magkakaroon talaga tayo ng mga pag-ulan in the coming days. And kapag po nagpatuloy ang mga pag-ulan over Western Luzon and Visayas, 5 days po, so kung bibilangin natin simula kahapon, nagkaroon ng pag-ulan, sumaring hanggang weekend, pag nasatisfy na yung ating criteria in terms of pag-ulan, then maring Monday po next week or a few days thereafter, maaari tayong mag-declare po ng tag-ulanan.
Maraming salamat, Benison. That's Pag-asa Weather Specialist Benison Estareja. Nearly 15,000 people have been impacted by Typhoon Betty, according to the National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council. In a situational report on Wednesday, the NDRRMC says Typhoon Betty has affected a total of 14,908 persons, equivalent to 3,821 families. According to the report, this covers 94 barangays in 6 regions. A total of 1,379 people have been displaced, with 806 in evacuation centers. 72 seaports were reported affected, of which 19 have resumed operations. Meanwhile, 141 flights have been disrupted so far. Estimated cost of damage to infrastructure is nearly 69,000 pesos. Assistance costing almost 2 million pesos has been provided to 6 affected regions. The Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas says inflation in May likely slowed down for the 4th month in a row. According to the BSP, May's inflation might be within the range of 5.8% to 6.6%, most likely receding for the 4th month in a row. The midpoint of forecast range is at 6.2%, suggesting that the BSP expects inflation to have eased further. April's inflation rate was at 6.6%. The BSP says the cumulative rollback in domestic petroleum prices, as well as lower poultry and fish prices, could lead to lower inflation in May. Lower electricity rates of various regional power distributors may also be a factor. On the other hand, higher prices of rice, vegetables, and other key food items, as well as the increase in LPG and Meralco electricity rates, are the primary sources of upward price pressures for the month. The Philippine Statistics Authority will announce May's official readout on June 6. The Bureau of Treasury says the Philippine national government's debt stock continued to increase to another all-time high of 13.91 trillion pesos. Debt stock increased to 13.91 trillion pesos by 0.4%, equivalent to an additional 54.24 billion pesos. In April, foreign debt increased by 2.5% to 4.45 trillion pesos as new borrowings exceeded payments made. Meanwhile, local debt decreased by 0.6% to 9.46 trillion pesos, mainly because the government redeemed more securities than it issued that month. The depreciation of the Philippine peso in April blunted the decrease in outstanding obligations, as this added 2.47 billion pesos to the debt stock. The Philippine National Police says a radio broadcaster was shot and killed in Oriental Mindoro on Wednesday morning. A report from the Police Regional Office Mimaropa says the victim died after 2 unidentified men on board a motorcycle fired at him at around 4:20 a.m. in Barangay Santa Isabel, Calapan City. The victim was identified as Crescenciano Aldovino Bundukin, a co-host of the radio program Balita at Talakayan, aired over DWXR 101.7 FM and online radio MUX. Police say a hot pursuit operation against the two suspects is ongoing. Meanwhile, PNP Chief General Benjamin Acorda Jr. directed the PRO Mimaropa to create a special investigation task group to handle the investigation. Acorda said that the police are exploring all possible motives behind the crime as they kick off their investigation. He adds that the police cannot as of this time that the motive is related to Bundukin's work in the media. Media practitioners in the province condemned the killing. Alamin naman natin ang mainit na balita sa mundo ng showbiz kasama si Irvin Santiago ng Bandera. Irvin?
Hi Neil at sa lahat ng mga kabandera natin all over the universe. Ito na nga ang latest Bandera Chika. Tuluyan na ngang nagpaalam sina Tito Soto, Vic Soto, Joey De Leon at ang iba pang Bulaga Dabarkads kaninang tanghali sa Tape Incorporated kasabay ng pagpapasalamat sa sambayan ng Pilipino. Nagtaka ang mga manonood dahil replay ang ipinalabas na episode ng Bulaga sa GMA7 ngayong araw, kaya naman mabilis na kumalat ang balita na may malaking announcement na gagawin ng TVJ sa programa. Habang umeere ang isang throwback production number ni Tito Sen, Bossing at Joey, ay bigla itong naputol at ipinakita ng live ang mga kaganapan sa studio ng longest running noontime show sa bansa. Ilang sandali pa ay pumagitna na sa stage ang TVJ habang nakapalibot sa kanila ang mga Dabarkads, kabilang na sina Jose Manalo, Wally Bayola at Paulo Ballesteros. Unang nagsalita si Tito Sen at ipinaalam sa publiko na pumasok silang lahat ngayong araw para makapagtrabaho, pero hindi raw sila pinayagang umere ng live ng bagong management. Kasunod nito, pinasalamatan naman ni Joey ang lahat ng TV network na tumanggap sa Bulaga mula nang unang umere ito noong July 30, 1979. Ngayong taon ay ipagdiriwang ng Bulaga ang kanilang 44 years sa telebisyon, kaya naman lubos ang pasasalamat ng TVJ at ng buong Team EB sa mga naging tahanan nila sa nakalipas na mahigit 4 na dekada. 9 na taon silang umere sa RPN 9, 6 years sa ABS-CBN at 28 years naman sa GMA7. Nagpasalamat din si Tito Sen sa lahat ng kanilang advertisers mula 1979 na nagmahal, nagtiwala at sumuporta sa kanilang programa at syempre sa lahat ng Dabarkads na patuloy na sumusubaybay sa Bulaga. Lubos din ang pasasalamat nila sa executive ng tape na si Tony Tuviera at sa Panginoong Diyos na kahit kailan daw ay hindi sila pinabayaan. Mensahe naman ni Vic Soto sa lahat ng Dabarkads na halatang pinipigil ang pagtulo ng luha. Ang hangad lang daw nila ay makapagtrabaho ng mapayapa, walang naagrabyado at may respeto sa bawat isa. At simula nga raw ngayong araw, May 31, 2023, nagpapaalam na sila sa Tape Incorporated at karangalan daw nila na makapaghatid ng tuwa't saya mula Batanes hanggang Hulo. Nangako pa si Bossing na kahit saan man daw sila dalhin ng tadhana, tuloy pa rin ang paghahatid nila ng 1,000 tuwa. Wala namang binanggit ang TVJ kung kailan at saan na mapapanood ang Bulaga, kaya abang-abang na lang tayo sa mga susunod na kabanata. At yan ang Bandera Chika natin today. Thanks, Neil.
Maraming salamat, Irvin. And these are the stories you need to know today. I'm Neil Mercado. Follow INQUIRER.net on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Reddit. For more stories, visit INQUIRER.net. Good evening.